time. This is victory. We are the chosen ones. We're making history. We'll show you what we got. Give everything we have. Every sweat, blood, and tear. Every last breath. We put up a fight until the last man, until the last day, until our last dance. We are here giving everything and more. To seize the opportunity, you know that we will score. This is victory.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome back to Oschersleben for the Sunday of race day. Qualifying number 2 for the NXT Gen Cup has started. My name is Dan Papels. Next to me in the commentary booth is Sebastian Borghardt. Sebastian, with a track temp of 9.3 degrees at the moment, it's going to be tricky to get these tires up to temperature. We're going to wait for these drivers to get them to temperature, get their quick laps in. We had, of course, a qualifying yesterday already. 2 red flags there. We're looking to keep it green flag for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we have been slipping and sliding a lot this weekend, but now we hope that we are done with that and that we can get 20 minutes of proper track action. We saw some really good lap times yesterday. The fastest one actually set in the race yesterday.
Yeah, that was set by Patricia Stalidzan, 1:46.7. Mind you, during that lap, she was allowed to use push to pass. So that gives you an extra 60 horsepower. So it gains you a considerable amount of time on the straights. Quickest lap time in qualifying yesterday, 1:46.86, won by Lucas Hagen. Patricia also looked one of the fastest in that session. However, after one of the red flags, she decided to do a practice start. She's been working on her mental preparation for these races. So she decided to take it calm, take it easy for the second restart. When I talked to her, she said, yeah, for sure, after this first red flag, people will not want to embarrass themselves any further and want to try and stay on the track. But yeah, sadly, Benjamin Mazatis was caught out. I talked to him by the gravel that was in turn 1 after we had, I think, multiple cars having it off going into turn 2 hotel corner. But yeah, green flag is in the air. 17.5 minutes of qualifying left. Benjamin Mazatis, first car out on a track. Oh no, sorry, it's Philip Dietrich in the Varta car. Those 2 cars looking extremely different.
Our championship leader, actually, Philip Dietrich, with 2 points over Lucas Hagen after yesterday. And remember, we have points in the qualifying, 4 points for the one in pole position, and then 2 and 1. And the first car off the track this morning.
Yes, that's Sophie Hofmann. She's found her way into the grass on the exit of turn 2. But she continues on her merry way. It's the same as we saw yesterday, just a bit deep, managing to keep it pointing straight at least. And that already is a victory because she's not stuck in a gravel trap. We'll keep this session under green flag, and that's good for all the other drivers trying to get their temperature into their tires. First purple sector set by Patricia Stalidzan. The gravel so nicely raked by all those tractors and trucks yesterday. Just before our session, it took, I think, 2 minutes for Sophie Hofmann to put her tire tracks in there, leaving her mark on the circuit. How did Sophie Hofmann do in the races yesterday? For Sophie, it was, of course, her second season in the championship. Managed to finish second in race number 2 yesterday. So for her, the top 10 finish already in the books. Philip Dietrich, here he is. No purple sectors for him. Those have been taken away by Lucas Hagen in the middle sector. Patricia Stalidzan in the first. Lennart Wolf, also one of the drivers who was unlucky yesterday. Had to, for some reason, I still don't know why, had to pull into pit lane during race number 2. It looked for a second to me like he went hard left into the wall. Luckily, it was just a pull at the pit lane and continue on your merry way, but that meant that he was out of any top 10 fight.
Lennart thought he had a puncture, went in to check it, but it wasn't a puncture, so he had to go out on track again. And I think he recovered a few positions, actually. So I think he was in the points in the race, but lost out big time.
Yeah, at the time he pitted, I think he was 5th in a 8-car train. A crazy battle yesterday in race number 2. We had 8 cars within 2 seconds for, I think, 6 of the 8 laps that we had. After that, the top 2, top 3 created a little bit of a gap for themselves at least. Yeah, a lot of racing action in race number 2, like we're used to here in the NXT Gen Cup. Patricia Stalidzan put in another purple sector in sector number 1, 39.198. We'll see these times drop up quite a lot. Lucas Stiefelhagen with the quickest lap so far at the moment, 1:48.142. Like I said, we went into the 1:46.8 yesterday during qualifying, so we're looking, Sebastian, for these times to drop quite a lot still.
Yeah, and as you said, Patricia, I think 2 laps in a row she has put in a purple first sector, and also in the races she posted a lot of purple first sectors. I think that is a section of the track that suits her really well.
It's a section of the track where you try and send it in high and try and get the car as straight as possible, as soon as possible, to try and get the exit right in these front-wheel driven electric LRT NXTs. Lucas Stiefelhagen once again putting in the purple middle sector. That's where he has been making the difference this round of the championship here at the Motorsport Arena. Oschersleben has been very strong in the middle sector, and that is a bit of deja vu there in the STFG car. Leonard Wolf once again pulling into pit lane. No personal improvements for him. He will just go in to check there. Philip Dietrich improving too. Lucas Stiefelhagen though, 1:47.2. Only 4/10 off of the quickest lap time we had yesterday. 1:47.6 though for Patricia Stalidzan, putting herself into P3. Philip Dietrich with no purple sectors, still in P2 and only just under 2/10 of a second behind Lucas Stiefelhagen, proving you don't really need to be the fastest in any sector to go pole.
No, and it's top 3 in the championship, holding together here on the track, and they are also top 3 so far in this session.
Yeah, they have been. The class of the field so far, that is Vivian Earl, who has had her fair share of spins this weekend, adds another one to the list, but for us, and luckily for her, is able to continue quite an unharmful spin and continues on her merry way as Patricia Stalidzan, for good measure, pumps in another purple first sector.
Yeah, lap after lap. She likes the first sector, I guess.
I think there's not much of an improvement compared to her last first sector. You can see track limits there in the chicane. It's not indicated by the white line, it's indicated by the bollards on the left-hand side. As soon as you touch one of those bollards, the lap time will be deleted. None of those drivers here did that. Philip Dietrich ahead of Patricia Stalidzan, giving her a lovely slipstream. And these two are going to fight it out for the provisional pole position. Lucas Stiefelhagen behind Patricia Stalidzan, putting in a purple middle sector, but his first sector is way off. He let both of these drivers past. You can see what that slipstream's doing, but Lucas Stiefelhagen, like I said, extremely confident in that middle sector. Philip Dietrich, though, first of these two to come across the line. Then it's Patricia Stalidzan. Let's see what they can do. Quickest lap time at the moment, 47.208. Philip Dietrich first across the line. Can he beat that? The answer is no. 4/10 of Patricia Stalidzan behind that. Gets close within 2/10 of a second, but only goes to second.
Yeah, now Philip Dietrich pulls out, not to give the others a tone. Yeah, it's like skiing when you take turns leading the field.
I've never been skiing, Sebastian, so I wouldn't know. Neither have I any watched any skiing races. Anyways, Lucas Stiefelhagen is now back ahead of Patricia Stalidzan. There's a bit of slipstreaming going on here. Nobody really wants to give any of these drivers a slipstream. Obviously, these three are fighting for the top spots. I'm looking at someone like Alex Gustafsson. He is in the pit lane at the moment. Of course, still has more than half of this session remaining to put in a quicker lap time. But he, I think, is on his own out there, just doing his own laps. 1:48.223. He was also in the top 3, qualified 3rd yesterday in qualifying. His quickest lap yesterday in qualifying was a 47.0. That is still quicker than any of the drivers have gone so far. So I think for Alex Gustafsson, there's still more in there to gain.
Yeah, and Julian Wirtele posting a 4th time. So far in qualifying, he's also one of the new drivers for this season. He missed the first practice and almost missed the second as well. But I think Julian have come into the car and driving pretty well, despite the limited amount of time he had in the car.
Look at this though, Philip Dietrich, even though he's not on any fast lap at the moment, posting a fastest middle sector behind Lucas Stiefelhagen. Lucas himself though posting a quicker, or the quickest first sector time, where he has been trailing to Patricia this whole weekend, was 2/10 down at the detection point of sector 2 across the line. Can he improve his own time? 47.2 at the moment across the line. Yes, he does. Improves his time to a 1:47.127. Improves that benchmark even further away from Patricia Stalidzan and Philip Dietrich. Philip, who's now out there on his own. Patricia Stalidzan, after cooling down her tires a little, now on her own. These three drivers, I think, now spreading out a little, thinking, okay, if I'm out here on my own, I'm just going to try and log my own laps, see what I can do without the slipstream, and it seems to have worked for Lucas Stiefelhagen, so why not for the two behind that? And we have a moment for Vivian Earl, and another spin going into turn one. I think that's Filip Bartosz behind her. That's his lap ruined, and Vivian's lap ruined. All the brakes, Vivian. Yes, she does. Well done. Manages to keep it out of the path of the passing Filip Bartosz, and is able to continue on her way. This is the number 5 of Bennett Earl. The two Earl siblings having a tough time in turn 2, it seems like.
Yeah, Bennett fencing a bit of lawn mowing here on the morning. Yeah, making sure it's looks good for the TV later in the races.
Exactly. DTM will be very happy with us doing the lawn mowing for them. This is the 73 of Linda Frey. She's having her fair share of spins. That's, I think, coming out of the chicane, going on to the back straight. Is she able to keep it out of the gravel? Yes, she is, hopefully. That means that we are able to continue. She decided to go forwards instead of backwards, but it has worked out for Linda Frey. Smart decision, though, because you don't want to go back onto the track once you've been off it. Patricia Stalidzan on a great lap, once again posting a purple first sector, a personal improvement in sector number 2. She was quick yesterday in qualifying. Like I said, she's been logging her own laps. Can she improve? First across the line of these three, Filip Dietrich at the number 71. No personal improvements for him across the line. He goes, but he goes to the top with a personal improvement in the last sector. Patricia goes to the top with a 46.776, 2.5 tenths of a second clear of Filip Dietrich, who improved just right in front of her. Patricia has finally done what she said and has been confident she could do the whole weekend. She puts that car on provisional pole with only 8 minutes left.
Yeah, and that is the quickest lap of the weekend, actually.
As we see another spin for Bennett Earl, this time keeping it off the...
Nice slide.
Yeah, it was another... Bennett should go and do some drifting, I think. He's able to drift a front-wheel car or a front-wheel drive car, let alone a rear-wheel drive car, Sebastian.
Yeah, I saw some commercial for autocross here at Oschersleben. Maybe Bennett should try that.
Yeah, back to qualifying though. Maxim Dhaka has posted a purple middle sector. Here he is, Maxim Dhaka. Coming around the final corner, Lucas Stiefelhagen also improving on that quickest first sector. Patricia Stalidzan said a lot of drivers now improving. Our timing screen is lighting up like a Christmas tree. Maxim Dhaka across the line, only able to go into second, but a tenth only away from Patricia Stalidzan. Then it's Lennart Wolf with a purple middle sector. Lucas Stiefelhagen, we're waiting for him to come through the second timing loop. Only his 37.2 is about 2 tenths off the middle sector time from Lennart Wolf. What can Lennart do? Hasn't been in the top 3 yet in qualifying. Can he improve into the top 3? The answer to that is yes, he can. 3rd place for Lennart Wolf. Lucas Stiefelhagen is up next though. Second to last corner though, he's bailed out of that lap.
And then Alex Gustafsson is coming on a fast lap, I think. Hopefully he doesn't get too much disturbed as also Lucas Stiefelhagen goes onto the gravel.
Yeah, he's improving too. Not a personal improvement in the middle sector, but he is bailed out of that lap. Alex Gustafsson across the line. Does he improve? He did improve his lap time, 1:47.6 for him, but did not improve his position, stays 7th. So a bit of bum drafting going on here in qualifying between Lucas Stiefelhagen and Patricia Stalidzan. Is Lucas then going to pull out and try a move up the inside to try and get past Patricia, or is this just some bum draft in? Lucas Stiefelhagen and Patricia Stalidzan are working together. There's one thing I know, and that is that Lennart Wolf isn't quite done with his qualifying yet. I said, was never in the top 3 before, and has now posted a purple first sector, purple middle sector once again for Maxim Dhaka. These are drivers that haven't been able to put in top 3 lap times this weekend so far, but they found speed in qualifying. Patricia improving on her personal best and the overall fastest time in sector number 1. We're looking though at Maxim Dhaka, who's first across the line of all of these top 5 drivers, is all of a sudden become a 6, 7, maybe 8 horse race at the front of the field for pole position. Maxim Dhaka first across the line, improves his time again, but only up into second, less than half a tenth away from Patricia Stalidzan. Lennart Wolf next across the line. What can he do? Then Patricia Stalidzan behind that with her purple first sector. She's soon going to come across the timing loop of sector number 2. What can she do there? We'll be looking at that. Is a tenth and a half down on her personal best time. Lennart Wolf across the line. What can he do? Goes into the 46s. No, not just about. Stays in the 47s. Improves his time. 47 flat for Lennart Wolf. Stays P3 with that lap time though. Patricia Stalidzan, no improvement in the middle sector, but was 1.5 tenths down. 5 minutes to go in this practice session. This could well be one of the last improvements we'll see from these drivers across the line. For Patricia Stalidzan and Lucas Hagen improves to the pole position. Can Patricia take it back? Yes, she can. 46.566, a tenth and a half ahead of Lucas Hagen. The qualifying session has been ramping up, Sebastian.
Yeah, and I think we are maybe getting to a point where the drivers are getting a bit low on energy. They have to take it easy in order to get back to the pit in a good way, and also they maybe have taken the best out of the tires with all these push laps.
Alex Gustafsson is one who has been in the pits. He will still be improving. I think a disappointing 9th place for Alex Gustafsson in the race yesterday. He had the pace. He struggled a little bit with overheating the tires quite early on in the second race. That's why he dropped back quite predominantly about 4 or 5 laps into that race. Completely lost the tires. I think we see Patricia Stalidzan after that lap, of course, extremely happy with that lap, but cooling down the tires a little, maybe going for one last ride at the end of this qualifying session. Benjamin Mazatis caused the yellow flag yesterday and the red flag in qualifying number 1. As here we see the incident that Benjamin Mazatis had. Let's see what happened to him. Once again, turn 2, catching him out. No gravel there so far today. So this time a mistake just by Benjamin Mazatis himself. Grass is wet though. You really do not want to be out there. Also a moment once again for Vivian Earl. Is she able to keep it pointing in the right direction this time? Nope, she goes around 180 degrees. Another moment for Vivian Earl. Difficult qualifying session this for the number 17 Bondix car. As we see now though, if I look at my timing screen, that Maxim Dhaka has gone to the provisional pole position. It's Philip Dietrich though, a winner of race number 1, who will come across the line with a purple middle sector personal improvement in sector number 1, and he goes to pole by 0.2 of a second. 46.286. The track is ramping up extremely quickly. Maxim Dhaka, Philip Dietrich in P1 and P2. Patricia Stalidzan in P4. I thought for sure when I saw Patricia's lap time, looking at yesterday's qualifying, that was going to be our pole position lap time, but Philip Dietrich putting another 0.3 on that lap time and improving the benchmark even further to a 46.286.
Yeah, we see now both Patricia Stalidzan and Lucas Hagen and Julian Virtele going into the pits. This means that Patricia and Lucas will not get pole position. I think maybe they are a bit low on energy after pushing so hard for so many laps.
Yeah, there is still the opportunity to go out of the pits, but Maxim Dhaka pulls into pit lane. He had his attempt at pole position, got it snatched away by an extremely quick Philip Dietrich, who is our championship leader too. And he puts 0.2 on the field. Bennett Earl having another spin too. It's going well for the Earl siblings in this qualifying session.
He's keeping in the right direction at least, Bennett.
Here we go, STFG car back into pit lane as we see the number 33 of Shante continuing. Lennart Wolf with a personal improvement in sector number 1 and a quickest overall in sector number 2. What can Lennart Wolf do? Did he pull into pit lane? I think he was one of the drivers who pulled into pit lane. Lennart Wolf, where is he on track at the moment? If I look on my driver tracker, the number 22 has indeed gone into pit lane. Oh my goodness me! Does he know that he has the purple sector?
Yeah, and he was not far off the best first sector either on that lap.
Oh my, oh my.
Lennart might have given up a really good starting position there. But, as I said, he might be low on energy.
Yeah, he might have had to. And had to come back into pit lane. But even if you're low on energy, still putting in that amount of... Or those sectors, I think that's also...
But you also have to make the lap back to the pits.
Exactly, exactly. You have to make the lap back to the pits. Here we go. Everyone coming into the pits now. And slowly but surely everyone's truckling back in.
Yeah, but what a qualifying session that was.
Yeah, my guy, and it's not over yet. We still have 50 seconds left of this qualifying session. We still have some drivers out there improving. Sophie Hoffman is improving on her personal best first sector, 39.5 in the first sector. That's quick too. So don't count Sophie Hoffman out of a top 5 position here either.
And it's also nice to see Linda Frey has put in some good laps today. She's 16th after having a pretty difficult weekend so far.
Yeah, of course, Confident was knocked after a pretty hefty shunt in free practice one. She's been trying to get on top of herself throughout this whole weekend and has managed to do so. Confidence is back for Linda Frey, 16th. And still 5 seconds off the pace, but much better than what she was able to post yesterday, as Andreas Kapfinger has a moment here. Also, Andreas improving throughout this whole weekend. We see the overall quickest lap time has improved, but also lap times from drivers behind that. Andreas Kapfinger, 1:51.449 for him. That's 2 seconds of an improvement compared to his qualifying lap time yesterday.
And Andreas, of course, driving with only his hands, so he's doing a stellar job out there.
He knows what it takes to win, he knows what it takes to win, has the mentality to keep putting in the work, to keep improving. Of course, a 4-time Paralympian, Andreas Kapfinger, so he knows exactly what it takes to push through. And he's going to come across the line to put in another improvement. It seems like Andreas Kapfinger across the line. Nope, doesn't put in an improvement, 1:59.2. That's far off his quickest lap time.
Yeah, I think it was the lap where he had the spin.
Yeah, and it seems like that everyone who is on track now is not improving anymore. That means that it's Philip Dietrich who will take home the 4 points. He will extend his lead in the championship. Maxim Dhaka, after taking his first victory yesterday in race number 2, qualifies in P2. Those two are gonna have fun battling it out at the front of the field. Stalidzan, smart in the races yesterday with push to pass. She qualifies in P3. Lucas Hagen P4 ahead of Leonard Wolf in P5. Alex Gustafsson will be happy with a P6. Once again a top 6 position. Mr. Consistent from season 1 is striking again in season 2. Benjamin Mazat is in 7th. Philip Bartosz in 8th. Julian Vertele in P9. Chanter P10 managed to keep it on the track. This time in qualifying. Siri Högfeld in P11. Sophie Hofman in P12. Bennett Earl in P13. Theo Vida in P14. Andreas Kapfinger in P15. Linda Frey improving a lot over her previous qualifying session in 16. Vera Jurland, our youngest driver on the grid, only 14 years of age in P17. And then Vivian Earl in P18. That's qualifying though for the Next Gen Cup. We'll be back racing at 12:15 local time. Catch us then for race number 1. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye.
This is prime time, this is victory. We are the chosen ones, we're making history. We'll show you what we got, give everything we have. Every sweat, blood and tear, every last breath. We put up a fight until the last man, until the last day, until our last dance. We are here giving everything and more. To seize the opportunity, you know that we will score.